Hey, Bible lovers, Tim Nichols here, and I just recently did an interview with Steven Siegel of Siegel Leathers, and one of the funny things that came up was how to say his name. Check it out. Tell me how to say it. Siegel or Seigel?
Seagull.
Siegel.
Or you could say, they could call me Steven Seagal like they do in Russian.
I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to bring that because I
Uh,
know you probably heard that joke so many times, the Steven Seagal joke. But yeah, you told me some funny stories about being mistaken for Steven Seagal. So, in this session, we talk about some pretty serious things. First of all, we talk about his background and kind of how he got into leathers. And then we move into ethics and integrity in the leather industry and how sometimes that can be abused. It's pretty interesting. Check it out. What is your background? And how did you end up in leather work and becoming so passionate about it? Because I could tell in our conversation on the phone that this isn't just something you do. This is something you are passionate about. This is something you care deeply about, and you want it done right. And you don't want to just do it right yourself. You want other companies to do it right as well. And to be honest, so what led to this?
I don't know, it's just kind of the way I was brought up, I guess. It was always stressed to me that that's the most important thing you can do in your life, is to be honest. That's why I'm passionate. I saw as a kid so much misrepresentation of leather, and other people in the industry would kind of laugh about it. There was nothing anyone could do about it. For example, there was a huge company out of upstate New York that sold a product they called Virginia Deer. I don't know if I think it went to a shoe manufacturer, and deerskin goes for a lot of money. If it wasn't deer, if I recollect, it was sheep. The difference between sheep and deer in price is unbelievable. So they got a lot of money for misrepresenting the leather, and no one knew the difference. The vendor never knew the difference. The customer never knew the difference. I've walked in stores, and stores that have thousands of locations, worldwide, and I've found the leather to be misrepresented. I've contacted the companies, and they've pulled all the leather from the shelves. It wasn't for money. It just bothered me. Maybe I'm like Don Quixote or something, but I just don't think it's right. Oh, and my competitors, and I don't know if they're competitors, but when I test someone else's leather, I write them a note, and I said, I just want to let you know that we test your leather, and you're representing as veg, and if you'd like the test results from a certified lab, I'd be happy to send to you, but it has 6,000 ppm of chrome in it, and you should label it as such, and you can't really sell it like that. And sometimes they'd hem and haw, but they've always changed the way they wrote it. I've worked as an expert witness, in descriptions of leather, let's say. I've worked for plaintiffs and defendants. I've been 100% successful in all cases. I've never had to testify because my report's been strong enough. The other side always capitulated. And we're talking about millions of dollars in every single case. And we're talking about Fortune 500 companies. They had access to the best people they could find.
We talked a little bit earlier about ethics and about sustainability, and that seems to be very important to you. So, what makes your goat skin or your leathers overall is sustainable and ethical? Because it seems that a lot of times ethics isn't a high priority on leathers, especially when it comes to mass production.
Well, it's not, Tim. I mean, no one has, people don't have control over it. You just make a product, and if it happens to turn out to be ethically clean, well, it is. It's not by design. So I can just tell you what we do, and I could probably tell you what someone else could do along the way that could make a difference. So I would say, to best of my knowledge, all of our hides would come from non-arable lands. So that means someone that's raising the goats for food. If they didn't have those goats as a herd, they go hungry. They can't grow a crop. So to me, that makes sense. When they kill the goats, and they raise more, and the grass grows, and the grass gets eaten, and the goat grows and gets people eat it, and life goes around. And the way the animals are killed, they're all going to be killed, by kosher. They'll all be killed probably by halal, which would be the same as kosher. There's no nice way to kill an animal. I believe it's more expensive to kill an animal that way, as opposed to, I've never been to a slaughterhouse. So in many cases, the goats are used for festivals. So the animals are, they're fattened and they're treated a little bit like pets. But, when the festival comes, that's dinner.
Yeah.
So I know we're people, we're not angels, so what can I say? And then as far as the way that our leather is made, we're not using chrome. So I know chrome has a lot of environmental issues in production, and then after production. So we use a lot of veg, and in some cases I don't have much control over the fat liquors used. We don't look to use something that's environmentally problematic, because it's cheaper. I mean, if we had a choice, we would pick the one that's environmentally okay, but that decision doesn't seem to ever really come out. The other thing, is I work in areas that are people like they hate Westerners. I mean, especially Jewish Westerners, and we end up becoming best friends. And I feel like, it makes me feel good because it makes me feel like I brought a little bit of harmony, and I try everything I can to pay the people fairly when I'm buying from them. I tell them, I always to everyone I buy from, I say, I don't care how much it costs. I just need the certain grades. That's all. You figure out what you need to charge me, and I'll pay you. Just give me these grades. That's all. And don't mess with me.
And you can tell when you've been cheated on the grade, I would assume.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better believe it. So, I don't fight with people on the price. I fight with people on the grade. We're making a product it's a luxury product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
People put a lot of effort into it. So the money's should be made with their craftsmanship, and they shouldn't be looking at so much. And the price of the raw material should be important, but it shouldn't be overriding. Because historically, everyone in the leather business that survives is at the top end, not the people that fight for price or commoditize the leather. When all those people go out of business as soon as you commoditize the leather, because there's no bottom. You just keep going down, 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 down. It gets to the point where you can't tell the leather. When your customer can't tell you leather from plastic, stop using it.
Yeah.
Because you might be in business for a little while, but it's not going to last.
Yeah. And I've actually noticed, I've got a calfskin Bible from a particular publisher, and I mean, it feels no different than bonded leather.
Maybe it's not calf skin, maybe it's calf split.
Yeah, no, well, maybe it is, but they are telling me that it's calfskin. It is trash.
If it's calf skin, it should be very, very smooth. If it's not very smooth, it's not calfskin.
It feels just like bonded leather to me.
But the surface, visually, it should look absolutely flat.
Well, I won't show the public. But this is advertised as a calfskin leather.
I can't tell. Oh, if it has a grain on it, that's not calf.
Yeah, it definitely has a grain. You can see it's got lines shooting all over the place.
No, sorry, that's not calfskin.
Yeah. So, but it is advertised as.
What does it? What is the name? I can't read it.
It says genuine calfskin leather right here.
No.
But this is. It feels like bonded leather to me.
I'm going to guess what it is. I'm going to guess it's a calf split, which would be the underlayer of the calfskin, and then what they do is they put a plastic layer over that makes it that's leather-like. That's bonded to that. That's bonded to that sheet, that split. We call it a finished split.
Concerned about the leather itself when it's being distributed by other vendors. You just want them to be honest and say, this is exactly.
That's all. Because the business, like when the customers are confused, it's kind of like the Tower of Babel, like when no one knows what the heck's going on. It's not good for anyone. At the end of the day, there's so many leathers that were fantastic 200 years ago that term is still used today, but it's meaningless, absolutely meaningless, absolutely totally meaningless, because no one took care to say, let's continue to use this name correctly.
Right.
If we have a product that's like it, let's figure out a different name.
Hopefully now you have a better understanding of Stephen's heart in the leather industry, and also how integrity can be very important, and sometimes there's some deception going in there. You want to make sure that when you buy something, that's what you're getting, and that can be kind of hard to do. So in the next session, what we're going to be talking about is money terms that they will use in order to make leather sound a little more expensive than what it is. You definitely want to check that out. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on.